My girlfriend shifts from clingy to distant, gaming endlessly while I feel ignored. Surprise Valentine's gets sidelined by her game. What changed? My girlfriend and I have been together for nearly a year, experiencing numerous highs and lows, yet we have learned how to navigate issues with time and patience. Initially, she was quite attached, often taking photographs and videos of us, sharing them on her Snapchat stories and more. She tends to be somewhat possessive and has been in 4 serious relationships prior to mine, alongside a few rebounds and friends with benefits. Her longest relationship lasted a year and a half, during which she experienced infidelity twice. In all her previous partnerships, the men involved always engaged in deceitful behavior, lacking complete honesty. On the other hand, I had only one significant relationship before her, which was long distance and spanned 6 years. Before we started dating, we were friends, and she often asked me things like, "How do you maintain a long-term relationship? Do you still feel excitement?" I would explain that over time, love endures, but you become accustomed to your partner, beginning to appreciate both their flaws and strengths. However, the initial excitement tends to diminish over time. Now, let me get to the main issue. When our relationship began, she believed I was ignoring her. In reality, I was not. I never dismissed her. She frequently inquired about my whereabouts, activities, and companions. This level of scrutiny was unfamiliar to me, as my previous long-distance relationship was built on trust, requiring less detailed communication. Nevertheless, I recognized her perspective and adapted my behavior. I made a point to provide her with updates and respond as quickly as possible, even during busy times. She insisted that I download the Life 360 app on my phone, claiming it was for my safety while driving and to ensure I wasn't using my phone while behind the wheel. Initially, I was hesitant but eventually agreed, convincing myself it would alleviate her concerns. However, I sensed it was also about tracking my location. My girlfriend is an avid gamer. Although I won't disclose specific details about her interests, she is active on Reddit and plays an old-school role-playing game that demands significant time investment. Frankly, I believe she spends too much time gaming for my liking. The past 2 years have been challenging for her. She experienced betrayal, dislikes her job, struggles with winter depression, has a beloved dog that is unwell, and faces her own health issues. These factors have contributed to her feeling quite low. I have always tried to support her as much as possible, never slacking on my efforts. From the very beginning, I have given my all. One time, she shared a story on Snapchat featuring some chocolates I had bought her and tagged me. To my surprise, a friend of hers attempted to add me. She swiftly took my phone, deleted the request, and blocked her. This incident made me ponder whether she truly appreciates my efforts. Many girls would be thrilled over a simple gift of chocolate, yet I continually strive to show her my love, bringing her flowers, cooking for her, giving her thoughtful presents, supporting her through tough times, planning outings, spending quality time together, ensuring she enjoys intimate moments, and always considering ways to bring her happiness. Perhaps I have gone above and beyond because now, all I receive in return is a brief "thank you." Initially, we met twice a week, but then she began dedicating herself to her game every single day. Even at work and during outings, she frequently checks her phone to play. On her days off, she engages in marathon gaming sessions lasting 13 to 15 hours. Initially, I was happy for her, assuming she was overcoming burnout. I expressed my pleasure that she found something enjoyable. However, the situation worsened. She began to converse with other guys in her gaming clan and even added one of them on Snapchat. She informed me that she was uncomfortable sharing her real name and would notify me if he behaved inappropriately. Currently, she has started ignoring me, at times not responding for as long as 7 hours. When I brought this up, she apologized, but no changes occurred. It feels like her primary focus has shifted to her game and the individuals playing it. Today, I sent her a message on Snapchat, but before replying, she logged onto Discord multiple times. I cannot comprehend how she prioritizes complete strangers over someone she professes to love. Our conversations have become superficial. I find myself constantly needing to initiate questions to sustain dialogue. While she still starts conversations daily, she occasionally disappears for hours. Meanwhile, I remain on, delivered, while she interacts on Discord. I cannot fathom what she is doing there. Earlier this week, I surprised her by showing up at her house unannounced, intending to ask her to be my Valentine. I prepared a basket full of gifts and snacks, bought a wealth of her favorite chocolates, handcrafted confetti and heart garlands, created a pop-up card, and even organized a small scavenger hunt in my car. When she opened the visor, confetti cascaded down, and she reacted adorably. Yet, she made me wait for 15 minutes in my car because she was preoccupied with her game. She said she felt guilty for not doing as much for me. However, upon entering her room, I discovered she had assembled a snack basket for me, which surprised me as I had expected nothing. I reassured her that she could devote 2 days to her gaming and that I would take her out for dinner that Friday. When I arrived 45 minutes early to pick her up, she greeted me as if she were indifferent to my presence. There were no kisses, no hugs, nothing. She had worked early and looked exhausted, so I understood. However, during our drive to the restaurant, the conversation was minimal and it felt uncomfortable. I attempted to engage her, but her responses were short, and at times, she seemed inattentive. At the restaurant, it was similarly awkward. At one point, she remarked, "Do you have less boring questions?" I responded, "What would you like me to ask? You don't even engage with me. I'm not a trivia book." She seemed to grasp the situation and engaged more afterward. The evening concluded reasonably well, but I would rate it a 6 out of 10. I no longer find joy in our outings, as she often appears irritable or comments negatively about everything. Subsequently, I purchased her a Lego bouquet of roses since she enjoys building Legos, thinking it would be a fun activity for us to share on Valentine's Day. When we returned home, she began assembling it, but when I expressed slight surprise, she said, "Forget it, you don't have a good vibe right now." I assured her of my excitement to build it and even challenged her to a race to see who could complete it faster. The remainder of the evening was enjoyable. We laughed and cuddled. Yet, eventually, she pulled out her laptop and resumed playing her game. I had given her 2 full days of gaming freedom, yet she still chose to play on Valentine's Day. The underlying issue is that she seems to prefer playing her game and engaging with strangers rather than spending time with me. She interacts more with them, shows more enthusiasm, and asks them questions in ways that have become rare in our relationship. I am truly perplexed. In person, our interactions are mostly fine, but online, she feels distant, rarely responds, and appears uninterested in me. Still, she exhibits jealousy. We continue to have intimate moments, although less frequently than before, and she confides in me about her hard days. Recently, she even sent me a flirtatious picture at my request, which I suppose is a positive sign. Am I overanalyzing? Do you believe she still loves me? Is there a possibility she might be straying? I am eager to hear your insights. Thank you for taking the time to read this lengthy account. It doesn't even touch upon everything that has transpired this past month. I'm simply exhausted from this constant worrying and overanalyzing. Story 2. You should have gotten me my license. In the mid-1980s, I answered an advertisement for a company offering affordable retirement benefits to individuals whose jobs did not provide a 401(k) plan or any other form of retirement savings. It seemed like a good idea, and I had some familiarity with it, so I believed it would be a suitable position that would allow me to attend school while earning some money, since I could essentially determine my own hours and appointments. The role ultimately involved selling insurance-based annuities, which are fundamentally insurance-backed savings accounts that mature at a specified time and provide a monthly payment upon retirement. I remained interested as I understood the concept and still viewed it as a beneficial service for clients. That was before I truly investigated the company and its leadership. I worked under a manager named Michael, a pseudonym. He was a dubious character primarily concerned with his own interests, and if it meant harming others, it didn't seem to bother him at all. Michael also had a tendency to cheat in various aspects. This becomes relevant later and would often boast about his actions. As a novice salesperson, I had yet to obtain a license for selling insurance products. However, part of the training process was to eventually send every newcomer to a brief class followed by tests to become licensed. The class was a rapid, how to pass the test without genuine knowledge, type that surprisingly succeeded. As long as you could sit in a chair, write your name, and hold a pencil, passing and obtaining your license was almost guaranteed, which did not inspire much confidence in the insurance industry in my state. Until we attended the class and passed the exam, we were required to bring a licensed agent along to our appointments. This agent would be the official name on the contract. Once the deal was finalized, the licensed agent would receive the commission and was expected to share it with us on the deals we secured. I participated in several calls with an older gentleman from the nearest city and successfully closed multiple deals. While the commission was modest, it was still money that I earned. After the agent received payment, he stopped coming to our small office and ceased responding to any communications regarding my share of the commissions. After discussing the matter extensively with Michael, he told me it was essentially my issue to resolve, stating that he would not take any action. In other words, it was, "Too bad you've been taken advantage of." That was strike one. The second issue arose when it was time for me to attend the class and obtain my license. I was rescheduled, and then rescheduled once more. There was always an excuse for why I could not attend, followed by inquiries about why I wasn't scheduling any appointments to write contracts. I informed them that I would resume production when I felt I would actually be compensated for my efforts, so all my appointments were essentially on hold. My manager then promised me that I was slated for the next class in 1 week and requested that I begin lining up appointments for the week following. As someone new to the business world, I genuinely thought he would uphold his end of the agreement, so I added several promising small companies to the board. If I had closed even half of them, it would have resulted in significant business. Unfortunately, when it was time for the class, my spot was once again given to someone else, and Michael informed me, "There's nothing I can do about it, maybe next time." That was the final straw, leading me to tell him I was resigning. He asked who I wanted to manage my appointments, and I assured him not to worry, as I would handle it myself. I went in, erased all the appointments from the whiteboard, and walked out. You may be thinking at this point, that's not even petty revenge, even though it would have accounted for a considerable amount of revenue. Remember Michael's tendency to exploit others and then brag about it? Here is the payback portion. During a conversation with some new employees, wanting to demonstrate how clever he was, Michael boasted that he had figured out how to manipulate his electric meter so that it wouldn't register the electricity being consumed. Apparently, the seal on his meter was sufficiently damaged that he could unclip it, jam the meter, and replace the seal to make it appear untampered. He knew his meter would be read on the second or third day of the month, so he would unjam the meter and let it run for a few days before jamming it again, securing free electricity for the remainder of the month. He would set his air conditioning unit to its lowest setting and operate it continuously. This occurred in a very hot southern state during the summer, so his meter likely spun like a record player at what could be a world record pace. With this scheme, he usually received what would be considered a fairly normal electric bill after just 2-3 days of running it. If you extrapolated that over 30 days, the bill would skyrocket. After my departure, several other individuals who had also been wronged by him left shortly afterward. Since most of us were business majors at the college, we often crossed paths. A week or so after the exodus, we gathered and discussed his electrical scheme, which led to our plan for revenge. Since it was after the meter reader's visit, we decided to take a little road trip to his house when we knew he would be at the office. We unjammed the meter and allowed it to run. You could literally observe the dials turning, ensuring he would be in for quite a shock. To add an element of mystery, we returned at the end of the month to rejam the meter, so he would have no idea what to expect. Since we maintained connections with a few individuals who remained employed there, we eventually learned about the consequences. When he received his next electric bill, it amounted to nearly $900, which was substantial in the mid-1980s. He panicked and contacted the electric company to dispute the significant increase in his bill. Promptly, they sent someone out to inspect the meter. Caught off guard, he was unable to return home to fix the meter, resulting in them discovering his tampering. Not only did he have to pay the inflated bill, but they also recalculated his bills for the preceding months, leading him to owe thousands of dollars. All he had to do was send me to the class and allow me to obtain my license.